Good morning, and we are on Course 1, 10.3 to 10.4 quiz, Big Ideas. Okay, so it says describe the shape of the distribution. If you look at this, this is almost exactly the same. This is almost a mirror image. So the left side of this graph is approximately a mirror image of the right-hand side, because if we folded it in half, it would be almost symmetrical. So the second part would be, it would be symmetrical. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our chart and we're going to plug these numbers in. So we want to see, this is how many hours there are. So we're going to put in our little 0.5 here and then our 1 here and then 1.5. If we look over here, we have 2 people at 1.5, so that's going to be twice as much. And then here we have 2 hours and there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 people with 2 hours, et cetera, et cetera. And when we finish this, this is not a symmetrical chart. This is skewed to the left. You can see how much is more shorter on the left, so we're going to skew that to the left. Again, here is another chart for exercise 3. There's a 0 to 14 minutes of people that practice. There's going to be 4 times, 15 to 29, 11 minutes. So when you're looking here, we're just going to plug it in. Here's 4 for 0 to 14. Here's 11 for 15 to 29, etc. So now we want to know what the distribution is. And when we look at our distribution, if we were to add these sides up from the center, it would be about equal. It would be about symmetrical. And the way we figured that out is if we added all of these together, or if we just kind of plopped them on top of each other, we would find out the mean. And the mean would be the most appropriate way to describe the center. And the blank is the most appropriate measure to describe the variation, would be the mean absolute deviation. So again, for number 1, we would have symmetric. This distribution is symmetric. The mean is the most appropriate, and the mean absolute deviation is the most appropriate measure to describe the variation. Okay, whenever you do something like this and you're not sure of what the answers are, always go for what you know first and then plug in the rest. Use the number line to correct the least value. Well, the least value numbered here is 4. So we plug in 4. First quarter, median, third quarter, greatest value of the data. Well, the greatest value of this data is going to be 15. So it's going to go right here. Then we want to know the median. Well, what we have to do to find the median is put them in order and then find the number that is in the middle. Now remember, you can't ignore any numbers. So if the 8 happens to appear, and it happens to appear twice, you have to count it as 2 different numbers. You can't just count it as 8 because it will throw off your median. So you have to put them in order from 4, 5, 5, 6, 8, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, and then you can find your middle number. And for this purposes, our middle number is 5. Your first quartile is going to be the numbers that come first, and then your third quartile is going to be after your median. Okay, we have a box and whisker plot. Okay, so we're going to plot our numbers, and we're going to put our presentation times in, and we want to know what the length of the presentation times are. So when we look at our first dot, this is our least. Our least value is going to be 8. The smallest value that somebody presented, it was 8 minutes. The longest value would be 16 minutes. Okay. The first quartile is when we take all of these numbers, or excuse me, these numbers, the 8 and the 12, and we get an average of the 2, and it's going to give us 10. So that's going to be 10. The median is the numbers, all of them added together and divided by that number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we add all 5 of those numbers and we divide it, it's going to give us 12. And the third quartile is going to be the number 13, because when we add the 12 and the 16 together, our average, or the numbers in between those, that's what's going to come out to, is the 13. Okay, exercise 6. The box and whisker plot shows the age of employees at a video store. What fraction of the employees are 20 years or older? So we have the 20 years or older. And when we look at this, we can divide this into two groups. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say half of them are older than 22 or older than 20 and the other half are younger than 20. So this is going to equal 1/2. So this plot shows the length in inches of fish caught on a fishing trip. The correct answer for right here is going to be skewed right. You can see that it's starting to get longer over this way, and the median is taller than the mean. So the most appropriate way to do this is the median, and the most appropriate measure to describe the center is an interquartile range. Okay, so then when we're looking at this data, what we're trying to decide is where is the measure of the center. So when we look at this, you can see that if we plotted all of these numbers out, the number that would be in the center would be 10. Okay, exercise number 8. The double box and whisker plot represents the number of students absent per day at a school. So we have the females in blue and the males are in red. Find the range of each distribution and determine which gender's absences are more spread out. The range of the distribution for females is, and remember the range is we're going to take the highest number and we're going to subtract it from the lowest number. So the female distribution would be 12, take away 2, which would give us an answer of 10. The range for the males would be, we would take the highest number, which would be 16. We would subtract the least amount, which would be 4, and that's going to give us a number of 12. So the absences are more spread out for the males than they are for the females because 12 is larger than 10. Okay, exercise number 9. The frequency table shows the hold times for callers at different companies. Display the data for each company in a histogram. So we have hold times, and then we have frequency for company A and frequency for company B. So now we're just going to plot these in. So for the first company, for company A, you have 0 to 1 minutes is going to be 2. The frequency of 15 or 14 to 16 minutes is going to be 2 to 3. 2 to 3 minutes is going to be 14 to 16 people, and then et cetera, et cetera. So you're just plotting these in. So which company has shorter hold times? The data for company A is skewed to the right. The data for company B is symmetrical. So company A has shorter hold times because most of the data values are on the left. You can see right in here, most of it's on the left, where this one is symmetrical, so they're fairly even. Okay, the box and whisker plot shows the quiz scores for science class. Find the interquartile range of the data. So we're looking at the range would be 20, take away 6. Hold on one second. All right, so we're going to take the 12, take away 6, and it's going to be 6. And when we're looking at which statement is correct interpretation of the interquartile range, the middle half of the student scores varies by no more than 6. And guess what, guys? We are finished. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.